Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So we're going straight for the palace this time. So deep magma bog palace. So there's plenty of world left after this, as you can tell by the part length. So in we go. Thank you, Flower.
Magma bog, huh? We're still in the
Yeah.
swamp theme, technically?
Yes.
That is an interesting combination of themes.
Sorry, I'm laughing at your pain, but
I wonder how, like...
In the game, right?
In the game,
I'm
right?
doing the Anakin Skywalker face.
But, like, you know, I wonder sometimes how level designers come up with themes like fire, ice, swamp, magma, that kind of thing. And I just envision them, like, in a boardroom picking concepts out of a hat and laying them out face down on a tic-tac-toe board. And then turning them all over at once to see what comes out.
This sounds like a penalty game. like it's something Yugi would do. All right, if you pick the generic desert level, though, your soul's forfeit.
So an evil video game executive from Konami to go with his evil television producer. Yeah.
Or a slime again.
This is your punishment for doing the Castlevania creator dirty, Konami. Penalty game. It doesn't seem to be affecting them much.
Fuck.
Their penalties just playing Castlevania The Adventure 12 times in a row.
That would be an excellent penalty game.
Because no, because all you're gonna do is encourage the bastard. It's like, wow, this sucked. I must make sure this franchise never revives itself.
That's how the time loop establishes.
You know, it's
Yeah.
it's funny. I was actually playing that on the Anniversary Collection, right? And it's actually not that bad on the M2 emulator that they've got going, because it doesn't slow down like a motherfucker all the time.
Oh, so it runs better than on the actual Game Boy? That's fun.
Yeah. I mean, you still move at a really slow pace, but that was because the Game Boy screen blurred if anything moved fast at all. So they intentionally made the characters slow.
The Toad Blob looks like they got a boo-boo on their head.
Aw, poor baby. It's okay. She'll feel better soon.
So, question, what do the coins do?
Regular coins give you a 1-up, which is,
Okay.
we don't need those. Purple coins, there are specific purple coin shops where you can buy seeds, badges, extra lives, and standees. Yeah. Standees, Ryan hasn't used at all, because they're mostly a multiplayer thing, where you press down and then a little cardboard cutout of the character doing something cute will pop up. And if you're playing multiplayer and you die, you can, as a ghost, run to the standee, and it's like touching someone in a bubble in the Mario games, the new Mario games.
Okay, can I just say that that I am tired of Mario games doing that thing where they have this one thing that the characters are constantly alluding to that gets highlighted in blue or something in the dialogue box over and over again until you get to the end of the game, as if to say, yes, this game has a plot, we swear, we promise. There's something coming that is different than what you've seen. But not yet. Not until the end of the game.
At the very, obviously Mario is not known for having strong storylines. At the very least, the characters in this one are charming enough, or I guess character, because it's just Prince Florian. But, like, that character is charming enough, I suppose. There are also some cool details, like if you're wearing the invisibility power-up, and you go into a boss fight with Bowser Jr., he'll be like, "Where are you? I can't see you." And if you go to the final boss fight, Bowser will be like, "Idiot, I know you're there," or something like that. If you play as Peach during the final boss, Bowser also has a special extra line where he's like, "My beloved Peach," or something like that.
Well, Mario games, you don't necessarily need a good plot to have a good story, and I think Odyssey and Sunshine are good examples of that. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
the game world, the characters within them, they're really fun to just hang around with. But, the plots are basic.
Mario Sunshine, for all of its problems, definitely has excellent world building, among the best in the franchise.
That's why Sunshine fans were so excited when Odyssey was announced. hey, here's a game coming that looks like it has what we like in it, and it's not Sunshine, so we don't have to put up with that game's faults anymore.
I think another part was because during the build up for the game, at some point they revealed the world map of it, and Al Delfino was clearly visible.
Yeah, and they were thinking you might
which
go
was supposed to be a callback, and folks were thinking,
oh, we're going to go back. Yeah, but they didn't.
Yeah, but that we never end up doing that.
And then they thought we would get DLC of it, and then DLC never happened.
Yeah, but we did have a Sunshine referencing level. It just wasn't Al Delfino specifically.
It gave us the Sunshine shirt too, though, didn't it?
Yeah,
I think that was.
There's a million
in there.
costumes in Mario Odyssey. So.
Yeah, they really are.
I mean, but just like things like the entire, if you look at a map of the island, you can see pretty much every level from the overhead. Like it's all there and it all makes sense.
Mario Odyssey is a miracle of game design because Nintendo somehow tricked a bunch of male gaming nerds into paying $60 to play dress up with a fat Italian plumber.
How dare you? You're right, though.
Well, you see, boys and girls aren't as different as people think because they basically, like, the distinction between boys' toys and girls' toys is non-existent. I.e., they're not dolls, Mom, they're action figures with pulsable action. Let me get my weird glass cubes and bust through them. Rah. Where do you get those weird glass cubes?
Are you calling them weird glass cubes because you yourself never got those?
No,
glass
I never
cubes,
had
and now
weird
you're calling
glass
them
cubes,
weird
and I feel
because
sad.
You're being very spiteful.
I am spiteful
towards glass cubes.
Yes, I am.
It's really hard when they admit to their villainy.
It's not villainy. It's my tragic backstory.
It's a villainy.
To be determined.
What about all the cardboard boxes that they bust out of?
Well, you can find cardboard boxes.
Cardboard boxes are much easier to come by.
But it's just like those commercials always had the weird glass cubes, and it's like, what kid has these?
What are they? Are they just plastic cubes? For what purpose? Storage?
No, because they don't
Legos?
open. They're just blocks.
They're specifically made for commercials because it looks more exciting and dynamic to have colorful cubes than bland cardboard.
Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I'm surprised, and I'm genuinely serious about this, that there was never a commercial tailored to kids that sells those blocks specifically for your action fantasies.
They could have done it too. Like,
I mean, they could have, but back then, parents had iron-fisted control over what you bought, and it's like, try convincing your parents to buy you a bunch.
It's not impossible because that was also the same era of all those fucking 1-900 numbers. Make sure you get your parents' permission before you call.
there are so many dumb things that I got my parents to buy me as a kid. Honestly, because effectively you just tell them they're building blocks and they'd be like, oh, okay. If they're cheaper than Lego, they might even go for it, you know? Like, being cheaper than Lego is not hard at all.
Lego wasn't that expensive back then, but it also wasn't very high quality back then, so...
I mean, I don't remember the specific price. I always remember them being expensive, though, and they're definitely expensive now.
Well, back when I was a kid, there wasn't so much emphasis on these big, high-quality sets where you made a really big, extremely detailed model based on a structure from a popular show or some shit.
Oh yeah, no, kids aren't buying the $300 Harry Potter castle or Death Star or whatever. They're buying, the smaller ones. But even things that you would think would be fairly cheap, like, the small Spider-Man action set or whatever, it's still like $30-$40 for something that's, says, 6 to 8 on the cover, and I'm like, damn. That's expensive.
But that's irrelevant because it's not the 6 to 8 year old that's buying it.
Well, it's important when you know who you're shopping for, Like, you don't want to...
I'm just talking justifying the MSRP.
Yeah, I guess. Like, I mean, I don't want to buy... Like, I mean... Because also, it feels weird, like, when you're buying something... Like, when I'm buying something for my nephew, it's not necessarily that I don't have $40 to buy for him, or that I even mind spending $40 for him. But it's more like, oh, his parents are gonna kill me if they find out that I spent $40 for him on this. You know?
Really? You would see? I've that's very strange to me because I've never really considered that or thought that'd be an issue for.
Some parents have a really big sense that if they spend too much on their child, they'll spoil their child, and they don't want their relatives messing with their mojo on that score.
You say spoiled. I don't like. This is how I think. I think the parents just don't want to be one upped. You know, it's like I want to be the child's favorite adult, but here comes my fucking brother getting them the $300 console, and I got the sticker book.
My sister, his mom, specifically said I'm not allowed to buy him his first video game, and I'm like, okay, you're just taking all my cool uncle cred away from me now. All right, jeez.
I think that's part of it. Yeah, I think it's because they want to seem the coolest to their kid.
I mean, there is some method in that. Like, I don't think that, you know, like if you're talking about a kid's first bike, like the parents should probably buy the kid's first bike. I also don't know what that flower says if you get the talking flower versus the wonder flower. Oh my god, I hate Spike. I don't know what it is about this stupid enemy that makes me just think that he's a stupid, dumb idiot, but I don't like Spike.
It's probably his face.
Yeah. Yeah. What were we saying? Oh, yeah. But, you know, I never thought about it that way, but yeah, it's like the parent does want to be the coolest one. And then, oh, Uncle Frank here is the one who's going to buy him the $150 drive-in super RC motor car with fireworks and explosions, you know, does ruin the mojo.
I'm just saying, as a kid, I didn't give a fuck who gave me what. I just want it.
Okay, but did your mom always get you the best stuff, or was that always like your uncle?
She got me something in the similar vein of what I wanted, but it wasn't always the exact thing I wanted. I guess not the latest, but the one example I can think of is when I wanted Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty for Christmas on the PlayStation 2, and she got me Onimusha instead.
I wanted Final Fantasy VII, and I got Final Fantasy IX instead because I guess my mom didn't care about the difference. Or maybe she assumed that the newer game was better. Or maybe she just couldn't read Roman numerals. I don't know.
So I actually have a really funny story about that. When I was in middle school, I was on my school's mock trial team. And that was sort of a short-lived kind of escapade. But my uncle knew that, so he got me Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney for the Nintendo DS, being like, oh, he's on the mock trial team. He likes lawyer stuff.
Mock trial.
Yeah. And it's like, okay. And then I look at it and I'm like, the hell is this? And then that same Christmas, my mom gets me Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. And I'm like, oh man, Mario and Luigi, Mario RPG on my DS. Wow. Turns out Mario and Luigi Partners in Time sucks a big dick, and Ace Attorney would alter my life irrevocably for the foreseeable future. So it's weird how those things turn out, you know?
These platforms are annoying.
They're so slow. Whoops.
That was a Castlevania moment.
Oh, you got the safety bounce badge prompt. Would you like to continue on easy mode?
No.
Do you need Super Donkey Kong to finish the stage for you? Here, let me wave my literal white flag of defeat to mock you in shame. Man, I don't know what it is about Donkey Kong Returns, where that stupid pig makes me more angry than any other like easy mode flag that any other Nintendo game's ever done. But it just pisses me off.
Ugh.
Yeah, this stage is pretty slow. If you do put on the safety bounce badge, though, you basically get to skip this entire level, part of the level, which is actually kind of fun.
What's the safety bounce badge do?
So anytime you would fall into a instant death pit, so lava or a bottomless pit, you get one free high bounce out. And then if you land in it again, then you die.
Oh, so it's like a Mario 64.
Sort of, yeah. Like when you bounce on it and then Mario goes, and then you try to bounce on lava to safety. Kinda, yeah. But if you put it on, you can put it on strategically to basically just skip huge gaps if you know what you're doing, which is kind of neat. I like when that's part of what makes this game so cool is that you can use badges for their intended purpose, which the safety bounce badge is meant to be, kind of a crutch for less experienced players, and use it to, speed through sections or do fun shenanigans, and it's really cool.
Okay, so...
Are you lost?
No, I'm going to the right first. Because that looks like a whole bunch of levels, so...
Are we in backtracking mode right now?
Yeah,
Sort of.
You can get through this section pretty quickly, all things considered, because you only have to do half the levels. So
okay.
Ryan did half the levels, fought the boss, and then is cleaning up the rest of them. Versus before, you could basically do the same thing, but he just always...
Nailed it.
You might want to go to the hospital after this, Toadette, because I think that's an easy concussion.
Don't worry, I have my head cushion.
How much, is the skull underneath the head cushion?
I was like, you could still get rocked.
Is it actually soft, or does the skull have the weird shape to it?
I always took Toad skulls as like a circle.
Hold on.
Why, but...
There's probably because you can play as Toad in Mario 3D World, where I'm sure if you get electrocuted, he does the same skeleton thing Mario's. So hold on. So I have to search Toad
electrocution.
Mario skeleton. Hold on a moment. Okay. So in Mario Strikers Charged, the Toad skull is really small, implying that the mushroom part is
Squishy.
extra, not skull part ish.
I like the completely arbitrary difficulty stars they stick on the levels.
Oh yeah, no, they mean nothing.
They never do in a platformer, but they mean especially.
Yeah, I think they do. I think it's a good idea. It gives you a good idea of what kind of difficulty to expect. That's the entire point.
I mean, I find that they're pretty, not misleading, but, there are definitely 3-star stages that are easier than 2-star stages and whatnot.
Well, it's just hard to quantify difficulty in a platformer in such a linear fashion, because every player is going to have more difficulty with different actions.
I look at it as a difficulty based on precision. Like how precise you need to make some jumps. Because I go back to the special world of this game, and they're all 5 stars.
Yeah, but there are definitely some special
so.
levels that are easier than others.
Sure, but I would think comparatively speaking to other levels in the other worlds, though, they still require more dexterity than what you're used to.
Well, I mean, precision is one thing, but...
I mean, the fact that we're even having this back and forth at all proves Lewis's talking point completely. It's hard to quantify.
Well, yeah, precision is one thing, but in a Mario game, precision is the easy part because of how much control you have. So, the challenge level is going to be based more on how many varied actions you have to do and how quickly. But which actions are harder for which player? Which actions are harder for which player to string into other which actions? It's all over the place. There's basically no way to express that in a linear 5-star manner.
I mean, but that said, though, what do you guys find to be the most difficult thing in a platformer, just in a general term? Because to me, it's precision. When I have a platformer, no matter how good it controls, no matter how good I feel when I jump, if you're asking me to land on a single tile surrounded by bottomless pits, that's when I get nervous.
I don't know if it specifically counts as precision, but definitely anything where you're strained and you have to do something without a lot of wiggle room, which I guess probably counts as precision. But I'm thinking of points where, like, you have to make a lot of precise jumps very quickly, one right after the other, or make a specific dodge under a specific enemy, or otherwise you die and you have to start all over. Generally speaking, finding out what you need to do is not the hard part in a platformer. If you throw yourself at the problem enough, you will eventually figure it out.
All that for a few coins.
I would say all that for a drop of blood.
I mean, I get why you were doing that. You thought like maybe there was a 10 coin that you needed to get, and that was an obvious place to look for the challenge, but oh.
Do you go through the entire playthrough using just the one cap badge, Ryan?
Except for the challenges that require me to use other ones, yeah.
So the answer is yes.
Why?
They say it's his first playthrough, right?
Yeah, but during my first playthrough, I'm experimenting with all the different badges and trying them all out.
Well,
like,
it depends on the player style.
Yeah, but you see, what Ryan is recording for content and is pressured to get the videos out as fast as he can.
Well, my point is, like, some people on the first playthrough will experiment. Some people on the first playthrough will find something that seems comfortable and stick with it. I tend to alternate depending on how comfortable I am with a particular game. But, like, every time I play Castlevania, I gravitate toward the holy water. When I play Mario, there's always one specific power-up that I always want to have. And when I play Sonic, it's always like, I always want that goddamn lightning shield. I just gravitate...
When Sonic gets mad, I hope it's good.
I gravitate toward my one favorite thing, even when, in certain situations, maybe the cross or the fire shield would be better. You know? And I know that academically in my head. But, like, lightning shield. It's shiny. I want holy water. It burns. Melts vampires.
Oh, okay. I was kind of hoping you just leave it at it burns because you just give up the game that you're a demon. It's like, I always kind of knew, but that was just a hard confirmation right there.
Yeah, if you want Lewis to appear in your house, you just got to say his name 3 times in a row.
Yeah, but he also needs to be invited in too. You just can't walk in.
Yeah, you can't walk in.
You know, it's such a common name, too, that you would have no idea how many times I've been accidentally teleported into someone's living room.
Yeah, you know, someone's mom is just, like, with their son, he's drawn on the walls, and she's just like, Lewis, Lewis, Lewis. And then he just pops in, he's like, hey.
Like fucking Beetlejuice.
Well, they just announced a new Beetlejuice movie, right?
Yeah.
Not just announced. That's just been announced since last year.
Well, I only just saw advertising for it this
Yeah,
year.
well, they announced it a while back, and they've just started doing, like, more involved, like, discussion of it because, you know, they're finally past pre-production, I suppose.
Yeah, it's due for October, I think. So it's only a matter of time.
I don't think I've ever seen the entire Beetlejuice movie all the way through.
Really? Oh, I think you should watch it. It's one of my favorites. I'm Tim Burton.
Was there a live-action TV show for Beetlejuice or just the animated one?
No, just the animated show.
Okay.
You're probably thinking of the musical.
There's a Beetlejuice musical?
The animated show is surprisingly good, considering.
Has one of the rawest fucking openings, like for a cartoon.
I do
both of
remember
them.
that opening.
Yeah. Like that was what convinced me, because like I was already familiar with the live action movie, but when I first got a glimpse of the intro of the cartoon, I was like, I'm gonna watch this.
For some
Cool.
reason, around that time, there were a surprising number of cartoons based on adult movies for kids that were actually really good at what they did. Like,
Beetlejuice is actually one of the later ones, because like there was the Ghostbusters one that came out like 10 years earlier.
Extreme Ghostbusters.
Dude, there was an animated series for RoboCop.
Holy shit! Yeah,
There was 2 animated series for RoboCop.
There were
Like,
2
what the-
RoboCop animated
What the
series?
shit? How is any parent going to explain to their kid that they're allowed to watch this cartoon, but they cannot watch that movie?
Now here's the worst thing is the parent watches the cartoon with the kid, never having heard of the movie, goes into the video store, which we had back in the day, and sees RoboCop. Oh, my kid loves this show. I'm gonna buy them the movie and let them watch it, and then traumatize 7-year-old child for the rest of their life.
I mean, I would say check the rating, but the ratings on movies were never as prominently displayed as they were on games.
Especially with how, like...
Especially RoboCop, which just says specifically rated R for RoboCop.
Rated R for RoboCop.